Hey y'all, welcome back to another video. I'm going to talk briefly about some records that I've been listening to in the last few days. And as always, I'll put some links and information to some shows that I have coming up in the bio. There's a bunch. I'm playing today, tomorrow, the day after, and the day after, and then a few more times the week after that before going on tour. So it's a really busy month for me. Too many shows to talk about in the video, so just look down there in the D box if you're curious about any of them. But yeah, now for some vinyl records, of course. First off, John Fahey, Volume 1, Blind Joe Death. This is an amazing American Primitivism record. Truly iconic and genre-defining. It's just filled with fantastic bluesy, folky, country, classical mix of solo guitar playing. If you are familiar with the genre American Primitivism, John Fahey is a name you will definitely know. He's like many people's introduction point to the genre. I would highly recommend anybody who's into maybe more modern records of people like William Tyler or Hayden Pedigo, maybe even Gwennifer Raymond, to check out John Fahey, specifically this record, Volume 1, and any of the records in his like volume series. I think there's like maybe 6, and I have most of them, but this is one that I really love going back to this one, because it's the first John Fahey record that I ever heard of and listened to, and that first side, the Blind Joe Death side, with On Doing an Evil Deed Blues, St. Louis Blues, Uncloudy Day, John Henry, like these songs are just so good. They're really simple for John Fahey. He's not like at his optimum point of like acoustic guitar skill by the time that he's recording this. But the compositions are still super memorable. The playing is great. I love the recording. It sounds so good. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about this record. It's amazing. John Fahey, Volume 1, Blind Joe Death. Next up, this is going to be probably like the first of a series of old jazz records. This is a solo piano album. It's by Paul Lingle. I've showed some Paul Lingle in the past, and for whatever reason, whenever I happen upon the dollar bin, I always seem to find his records, and I quite like his style of piano playing. He was kind of known as an interesting character because he was just really, really tall. So seeing him sitting at the piano just like jamming on some ragtime tunes must have been quite the sight to behold back in the the 40s and 50s. But yeah, this is a what do you call it? It's like, I guess it's a live recording. You can hear a lot of like tape warble and hiss. It's pretty lo-fi. Definitely the weakest recording quality out of any of the Paul Lingle releases that I have. I have another sort of like live at the Jug Band Club or something. It's like a similar photo of him kind of like turning around like this on vinyl, and then I've got another Paul Lingle on CD. But this is definitely a rougher around the edges recording. But it's still really cool if you like kind of jumpy, energetic ragtime piano with a lo-fi, kind of dusty recording quality. You would really like this. So yeah, Paul Lingle, Encore, Coda, and Rest. Yeah, it's good stuff. After this is just like a blank jacket, but the actual record inside is Blues Groove by Tiny Grimes with Coleman Hawkins. It's a really, really nice jazz record. Not anything like super descript about it. It kind of reminds me of, I have this Gene Ammons record called Heavy Sax that has a lot of like blues sax stuff going on. This kind of reminds me of that. It's just a bunch of blues. The recording quality is fine. They play well. It's moderately entertaining. Mostly sits in the background, but nonetheless, it's fun to listen to, and it sounds pretty good. Yeah, Tiny Grimes with Coleman Hawkins, Blues Groove, in a unlabeled jacket, of course. Eubie Blake, the 86 years of Eubie Blake. This is super fun. Another solo piano record, and aside from a few tunes where Eubie Blake is either just like talking smack or just kind of vocalizing while he's playing, it's mostly just a solo piano record. Really, really fun to listen to, really entertaining. This is a good one. Totally random find. But yeah, this guy is, he's just quite the character. Like, he's just talking smack and like making comments about, other jazz musicians who are his competitors, and he's just ripping away on some like, you know, ragtime sort of stride piano. Yeah, super fun to listen to. It's a lot of music on here, a lot of tunes. So, you know, it's kind of a lot going on, but it's really awesome. You know, I thoroughly enjoyed listening to this. Having it on in the background, it like would fade into and out of view while listening to it, and I kind of like that about it as well. It's just a good record to keep playing. Eubie Blake, the 86 years of Eubie Blake. Duet by Don Ewell and Bob Greene. This one's alright. It's a dual piano record, ragtime, stride style. Not really stride, more of a ragtime feel. Really old school. I love the art on this. I love the design. I think it looks fantastic. From what I recall, the label looks pretty entertaining too. Let me pull it out here. Yes, this is the one. This is on Fat Cats Jazz. Look at that label right there. I hope you can see that well. Fat Cats Jazz, Duet by Don Ewell and Bob Greene. The record is alright. They're playing. It's definitely two pianos playing. It's definitely ragtime. It's cool. Not nearly as entertaining as the Eubie Blake. I think there's like moments of interplay that are kind of fun to listen to, but it mostly just fades into the background. I more just dig it for the awesome cover. I mean, this looks really, really cool. And just great design. I love the font. I just love how this looks. I love a good like black, white, and sort of like orange palette. I've always liked that look. Like a Halloween vibe almost. Yeah. Decent record, great jacket. This is really good. Robert Silverman, who's the pianist on this record, but it's a classical piano record. It's called Piano Sonata and Other Works. He's playing the music of Aaron Copland. It's really, really, really good. How do I even describe this? Yeah, just like, it's a very quiet record. It's a solo piano record. The tone of the piano is absolutely gorgeous. The compositions are really, really cool and engaging. There's some great moments. There's some great compositions. Beyond that, I don't really know what to say. I mean, it's a solo piano record. It's classical. This guy sounds great on the piano, and the compositions are fantastic. I don't really know very much about it beyond that. It's got a whole book on the back, of course. I didn't read it. Yeah, this is really cool, and it's presented by the Yehudi Menuhin Foundation. Yehudi Menuhin, I don't know very much about him, but I have a couple of records of his where he's playing with Ravi Shankar, and it's called like West Meets East or something. Pretty cool. So yeah, this is really cool. I also love the jacket here, the cover. Love the design, love that photo. Very much captures the sort of glassy, cold vibe of the sound of this. And yeah, really, really good. Can't recommend it enough if you like solo piano, classical, that sort of thing. Another great cover, Bechet-Spanier, Big Four, 1940. This is like a super fun, really lo-fi recording, great, just like old school jazz, swing kind of style. It's got Sidney Bechet, of course, on clarinet and soprano saxophone, and Muggsy Spanier on the cornet. You can see them both pictured here. It's mainly the two of them just kind of dueling and shredding back and forth, while there's like a guitar and a bass that are kind of like just covering some changes. Yeah, it's a good record. It's fun to listen to. This was the last record that I just played before shooting this video. Really, really fun, very upbeat, snappy, toe tapping, finger snapping jazz. Super old school. This is like, you know, that's kind of the theme of a lot of these records. I got them actually in like a bin of like free stuff that I got at this record shop, Dusty Groove. I think they picked up like a really big collection of jazz recently, and in picking that up, there was a bunch of these like kind of old jazz records that weren't worth too much money, so they were just like giving these boxes of records away for free. And this was one that was in there, along with various of the others that I've shown so far. The Aaron Copland I bought. This Duet, Don Ewell, Bob Greene, this was in there for free. This was free, the Eubie Blake. This was also free, this blues groove in the unnamed jacket, and the Paul Lingle as well. So shout out to Dusty Groove, great record shop in Chicago, for hooking me up with the free records. There's plenty more free stuff I have loaded up, you know, of the sort of old school ragtime, swing, jazz variety that I still need to listen to. Yeah, so expect, you know, plenty more of that. I've been getting more and more into those genres. I'm interested in this kind of like, just the old Americana aspects of some of this music. You know, I've gotten really into American Primitivism over the past, you know, year or so, listening to a lot of John Fahey and Robbie Basho and things like that. But now I feel like I'm also kind of dipping my toes into the kind of old school piano lineage of minimalism, you know, specifically like ragtime and stride piano. I love stride piano, like solo stride piano records. So if anybody has some recommendations for good like solo stride piano records, I would love to hear them. One or two pianos, like no backing, just like moving around, improvising. I really love it. I feel like most of the stuff in that style that I have is more ragtime, so they're kind of just like covering changes and hitting melodies. But I would love to you know, learn about some more stride stuff, like a little more improvised, a little more unhinged. I really love the style, and I think that it's kind of like a nice companion piece to American Primitivism, because the Primitivism stuff is like really expansive and really like kind of I don't know, they're different to me, stride and Primitivism, of course, but they kind of seem to me to come from a similar place of like, you know, just sort of like alone in a bar with nobody in it, and you're just left with either an acoustic guitar or a piano, and you're forced to kind of just, you know, improvise your way into an entertaining situation, you know. And I love how bleak and how minimalist it can feel. So, yeah, I guess that's all I have to say today. Again, look in the description for the shows. Plan a DIY show tonight, Beat Kitchen tomorrow, Midnight Tea in downtown Chicago on Friday. On Saturday, I'm at the VCR DIY, and I'm at the Anthill DIY on Sunday, the Attic DIY next Tuesday, Hungry Brain next Friday, and Color Club on Saturday. All the information for those is down there. And then after that, after Christmas, I'm on tour with Chaepter. So a lot of shows happening. I'm still going to keep listening to records and making videos like this whenever I can. I'm glad I'm able to keep it up, at least to some degree. But yeah, happy listening. Hope you found something that you might like. And I will see you in the next one. Thank you.